When you value firepower and intimidation over everything else, there's little out there that beats a reliable shotgun.
Need more firepower.
The Helldivers 2 has a lot of shotguns and shotgun-adjacent weapons, so it can be tough to know which home offense dispenser of freedom matches your personal style of liberation. My name is Commissar Kai, and today I'll be curating our arsenal of bad guy deleters so you can find your perfect boomstick.
This is my boomstick!
God damn, Bruce Campbell has a democratic chin. Look at that thing. Anyway, no time for distractions. Shotguns and Helldivers are close to mid-range weapons that are perfectly suited as personal protection guns. Sweeks, you just murdered the...
No, I didn't. I didn't do nothing.
I just watched you kill a man.
No, you didn't.
They usually have high damage, light to medium penetration, and are reloaded either with a magazine or individual shells. The process of loading individual shells is a mechanic called rounds reload, and it will come up for many of our shotguns. Rounds reload weapons are reloaded one shell at a time, meaning you can keep your weapon topped off in between shots or while on the move, which helps a ton when it comes to keeping fast enemies away from you or keeping the bots suppressed.
Oh my god, you have the ending of Red Dead Redemption over here, man. Yeah. I don't have a smoke strike, but I have a lot of things that'll confuse them. I'll buy you time.
Shotguns and Helldivers come in two flavors. The first is your classic home defense weapon. These are shotguns that are well suited for keeping you out of the mop bucket of freedom because they come loaded with stagger and pushback in addition to their high damage. These are your rounds reload weapons and usually work best when paired with other pieces of kit that benefit from the protection they provide. The second flavor of shotgun are the bullet hoses. These are usually magazine-fed weapons that trade stagger force and pushback for raw DPS and fire rate. These weapons are best used as an answer for chaff and generally pair exceptionally well with anti-tank options, since any greens will need to walk through a wall of lead before they get the chance to throw off your aim. There is a secret third flavor of shotgun, but these are all weapons that don't really fit the typical definition of a shotgun, are too big for a Helldiver to wield, or are unavailable unless you find one on the map. So let's quickly get those out of the way so we can move on to the real shotguns. The Arc Blitzer is shotgun shaped and has a pump action, but since it does not fire a barrage of lead or lasers, and instead only hits enemies in the face, I didn't feel like it quite fit the definition. It also has a bad habit of deleting your teammates and getting stuck on bushes. So until this weapon is fixed and gets a buff or two, I'll be leaving it on the shelf.
Look at you. Just the softest, wettest boy. You pathetic.
Look, I'm real sorry to all three of the Arc Blitzer fans in the audience. I know it can be a good weapon, but I don't think you'd complain if it stopped getting caught up on bushes. My PP needs no introduction because you are all aware of its glorious majesty. And if for some reason you've not yet been acquainted with my 20 inches of democratic steel and burning passion,
that's quite big.
you can check out this video for a deep dive that will leave you satisfied. The Orbital Cluster Strike is kind of a shotgun, but it's a bit too big in scale for this video and it seems hazardous to my health. Especially when RedMonsterThing is using it.
So much better.
Oh, shit, Red, you're stupid. Super Destroyer is out in Narnia. Just keeps turning us into tomato paste. The Breakthrough mech has a glorious flak cannon that is basically a mech-sized shotgun, and it's the only shotgun with heavy penetration. But we can't lug it around, so I'm not gonna count it. Finally, we have the SG-88 break-action shotgun, which is the super farmer's preferred method of dealing with tyranny, when they're not smashing a shovel into a bug's head anyway. It does more damage than the Punisher, and it can fire both barrels at once, but since you can't drop with it, and the Double Freedom mogs it so hard, this is as much of a mention as it's gonna get for now. Okay, let's move on to the real shotguns and the reason you're here. If we imagine that all of our shotguns are flavors of ice cream at Super Baskin Robbins, then the SG-9 Punisher is basic bench vanilla.
You're basic.
Yeah, I noticed.
There's nothing overly special about it, which kinda gives it a unique flavor all of its own. It's the very first gun you will unlock when you start the game, and despite its basic nature, it can get the job done against most factions even on solo level 10 missions. I know some of you think I'm just blowing smoke up your ass when I say things like this, but just look at the footage in the background of this video while I am talking. If you still think it sucks after seeing that, then let me know why in the comments. The Punisher has a decent number of attachments for a shotgun, but there's only one that actually matters. The gun goes from kinda stinky,
The Punisher at range is a little stinky,
to pretty good once you get access to that full choke. This makes the weapon accurate enough to hit weak points with most of its pellets. And since it does 405 damage in total with all of those pellets, this means it can one-shot the vast majority of greens and blues, or chaff and elite enemies if you're not in the know, if you take the time to aim for weak points. If you don't aim for weak points, it's still very good because of its defining feature, its stagger force. Stagger is what makes most of our pump guns good, since you can stall out an enemy from attacking you long enough to hit them with follow-up shots. And this is the main reason you'll take this type of shotgun. If you need a tool to let you aim a support weapon like a railgun or an AMR, the Punisher is a great one to reach for, especially when you're just starting out. It's also a rounds reload weapon, so you can load shells in between your shots, making it very difficult for you to ever be caught without a shell in the chamber, further adding to its nature as a personal defense weapon. I told y'all, the Punisher is the most shotgun that ever shotgunned. It does exactly what you'd expect it to do, but it does have some decent breakpoints that are worth mentioning. Against bugs, it'll kill all your greens in one headshot or body shot, making it very forgiving. You can take down an Alpha Commander with 3 hits to the face. Nursing Spears and Biospears will pop with 1 mouth shot, which is easier to land because of the stagger, and Stalkers just get bullied by it. For bots, it's obviously good against their basic chaff enemies, but it's surprisingly pretty good against their blues as well. Berserkers get liberated from their walking nightmare with 1 belly shot or headshot, and the stagger and push force means they can never really get close to you. Devastators will die in 1 very close range belly shot or a headshot from medium range with that full choke. But if you just find a piece of cover and let them walk towards you, like the dumbasses they are, you can pop heads very easily with this weapon. More so than you might think. Pair it with an orbital smoke strike and you can just walk into hordes of devastators and put them all on notice. Against Illumina, it's
stinky.
Editor Swigs really hates this gun, by the way, y'all. Beyond Squids, it's just not very good against either the main faction or their sub-factions. Overseer's Ablet of Armor absorbs most of the damage, Voteless can overwhelm its fire rate, and flesh mobs are not stopped by its stagger. This faction just doesn't play to this weapon's strengths, and that's okay. Overall, the Punisher is a great baseline shotgun to measure everything else against. It's a solid B+ tier, so everything better than it is a great weapon, and everything worse than it is
stinky.
Speaking of worse, let's move on to one of my most hated weapons, the SG-85 Slugger. Now look here, y'all. I love slugs. They are giant bullets that do massive damage to whatever they hit. But in Helldivers, the Slugger has just been power crept to hell, and I can't find it in me to like it. Thankfully, I found someone that does. Now, Swigs, proper Tana, like EPOG etiquette, is if you hit them with a full charge, they only need a little half charge to finish them off.
Okay.
Tana, please give us a reason to use this weapon.
Howdy y'all, it's me, Tana, the Kamasatai. I am here today to talk about the Slugger, which is one of those weapons that you either hate it. What's special about the Slugger is that it's a medium penetration, pump action, high power, single projectile shot, making it essentially close range rifle. Oh my god! Me cosplaying Kai, shooting shotgun from like 100 meters away. But most importantly, the shell is mint color. What I like about the Slugger is stem from what I like about marksman rifle. The satisfaction of one-shotting enemy in the weak spot. It can one-shot most small bots. 1, 2, where is it? Oh, there. 3. Okay. It can one-shot overseers in the head. There's a lot of them in here. Not matched for my Slugger though. It can one-shot most bugs. Get out. Get out of here. Oh no, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. And the stagger force and knockback are also decent at keeping enemies at a distance. But all the things that make it great is currently sadly suffering from the most undemocratic fruit of all, power creep. It's just unfortunate that what Slugger can do well, other weapon can get it more right. Woohoo! A medium pen pump action that can one-shot things at close range. A medium pen close range high damage output. Knee staggered, knockback, and stunned. Don't get me wrong, I like using this gun, but the uniqueness of it is the fact that it's not unique enough. And honestly, I don't know how we could improve it. It's fine as it is. What would make you as a player pick it up more? Higher damage? Bigger projectile size? Leave a suggestion down below. In the meantime, if you would like to run the Slugger to get to know the weapon better, I would suggest you running with Cease Rating Armor to help with ammo economy and reload time, and or sidearm that you can quickly switch to in case of reload emergency, and then anti-tank of your choice. I hope you give this weapon a chance. Even if you don't like it, at least you will now know it better.
Well, damn it, I wasn't expecting her to make such a compelling argument, but even with some decent selling points, I think it wouldn't be controversial to say that the Slugger is a little worse than the Punisher, meaning it falls into the not great category, even if it can still put in some serious work if you take the time to learn it. But next up, we have the most controversial weapon on this list of boomsticks, my baby, the M90A. This 8-gauge Magnum shotgun can be picked up in the ODST Super Deluxe Legendary Premium War Bond, meaning it is by far the most expensive shotgun on our list. And a lot of you love to make fun of me for enjoying this weapon so much, especially after the Sweeper made its way into our armory. But I don't care, this weapon is still better than most of you give it credit for.
How dare you!
And because I love it so much, I've used it a lot, so I know what its strengths and weaknesses are. Starting off, the defining feature of the M90A is its massive damage per shell at 605, and it has the same armor pen and stagger force as the Punisher. It only comes with 6 rounds in the internal magazine compared to the Punisher's 12, but it's also a rounds reload weapon, meaning magazine capacity doesn't really matter as long as you get the rhythm right. It doesn't have any attachments, but at least it comes out of the box with a half choke, so that's something, I guess. The beefy ballistic damage, hefty durable damage, and relatively tight spread of the pellets makes it an excellent weapon for dismantling our enemies piece by piece at close range. Bugs is its best faction because they reward weapons with high damage and stagger. For example, there's very few guns that can actually measure up to the M90A on a Predator strain mission, because it just beats their speed into submission while taking them down in just a few shots or one well-placed headshot. Stalkers that can't get close to you are not scary, but even against other bug seeds, it's still taking out every green in one shot, sometimes turning them into much more democratic piles of meat. It absolutely bullies their blues, and it can even kill some of their reds pretty reliably, especially if you use it to finish off heavies that are already hurt. You might think that this weapon suffers against things like Hive Guard or Bile Spewers because of its light penetration, and to some degree, that is true. But even if you're too overwhelmed to aim for the weak points that make these enemies fall over in 1 or 2 shots, the stagger can still keep them in place while your team or your other tools kills them. For bots, it's basically the Punisher with more damage, and I already showed y'all how effective that weapon can be against the clankers. But because the M90A has a lot more damage and durable damage, it's even better than the Punisher at hitting certain breakpoints. For example, you can more easily take out a rocket strider by shooting its rockets or its legs. You can also take down a Hulk with just 3 shots to the vent. If you pair it with something like gas grenades or the Re-Educator, giving back shots to Hulks becomes incredibly easy.
Just look off in the sunset, George.
Yep, just look at the flowers. It's also more forgiving than the Punisher when it comes to blasting berserkers in half or turning a Devastator into a toaster. But just like the Punisher, it suffers against the Illuminate for exactly the same reasons. Its stagger isn't as valuable, its low ammo count is not great at culling the former voters, and that light penetration means it struggles against things like Harvesters or Stingrays. However, its strengths against the other factions double down on what the Punisher is good at doing, meaning in my opinion, it's better than the Punisher. If you want to call it a side grade, I can live with that. that. But even in that case, the M90A remains a good, not great, weapon. I would dearly love it if it got some attention from Arrowhead, maybe by giving it more damage to really solidify its role as an anti-blue weapon, but as it stands right now, it is at least pretty good.
How dare you?
Don't do it.
I slapped you because...
But I get it, y'all. There's another pump-action, rounds reload shotgun out there that caters to those of you deep in the medium bin cult, the Sweeper. But because this gun makes me feel like I'm cheating on my M90A, I'm gonna give the mic over to someone that loves this gun as much as I love my baby.
Hello, hello! I'm Lhila Kalkari, your average dime a dozen catgirl content creator, and welcome to my segment of the video where we're gonna talk about the gun Commissar Kai told you not to worry about. She's a lovely little classic who's as pretty in the gun rack as she is taking enemies out back. May I introduce to you the little Spitfire I like to call Kai's mistress, the SG-97 Sweeper. Packing 7 rounds of flechette shot and dealing 504 damage at AP3 or 132 durable damage, the Sweeper doesn't blast enemies back as much as she blows clean through them. And thanks to her drag factor of only 30% and delightful accuracy, she does so with more reach than any weapon in her class, while still remaining dexterous with 65 ergonomics. But the real reason the Sweeper steals the show from Old Faithful comes down to one word: Slamfire. Just hold down her unique trigger and work that slide to deliver votes at double the rate of other pump shotties. She packs a truly astonishing 1,260 DPS, enough to sweep away any concerns about silly damage breakpoints. But with her low magazine size and the rounds reload mechanic, you'll have to work your fingers hard on that reload button. So pace yourself and don't liberate your way too quickly through her 70 reserve rounds. Now, between you and me, let's tip the tea and expose the real reason Kai keeps his mistress a secret. Unlike the M90, the Sweeper comes with a complement of accessories, including optics that range from irons to a puzzling 4x scope, and plenty of chokes to fit on the tip. But by far her most eye-grabbing accessory is the 13 inches of hard, straight steel slung under her barrel. Don't let the size of her bayonet put you off, though, as she wields it well and won't leave the enemies of Managed Democracy complaining with a new hole between their ribs. And if I haven't sold you yet and you need more reassurance, just ask Kai how he likes them with a little bayonet in the trenches. In my extensive testing, I found the Sweeper excels in 2 configurations. The first takes advantage of her low drag, honing her accuracy with a full choke and low magnification optic that turns our spicy classic into a long-range detention getter. In this configuration, she can reach out and slay small targets like boatless troopers and hunters at ranges of nearly 70 meters, or easily pick the heads off of larger enemies up closer. The other configuration favors the Sweeper's overwhelming damage application and spreads the love in a horizontal fashion, with a duckbill attachment. In this setup, she truly lives up to her name, sweeping away small hordes of scavengers, up to 3 troopers at a time, or even kneecapping entire swaths of voteless, all without giving up the ability to cleave overseers in half or decapitate bile spewers. All in all, the SG-97 combines old-fashioned class with some delightful new twists for a striking package that will steal the breath of your enemies and leave you sweating in exertion. And that's why she's my favorite gun on the Super Destroyer, even if Commissar Kai likes to keep her hidden. So come find me on twitch.tv/Lhila Kalkari, where I regularly stream with my viewers, and maybe we can sweep the trenches together. Lhila Kibby, over and out.
Oh, god damn it. Bayonet in the trenches? Kai's mistress? Okay, this was a mistake that we should all forget about. This never happened.
Good boy, Kai.
Get off my ship, damn it. Okay, I will admit, the Sweeper is better than the Punisher. And maybe, sometimes, on certain days, when I'm in the mood, it's also better than the M98. Moving swiftly on, we have another fan favorite shotgun, the Double Freedom.
Has this ever happened to you? Hi, Lady Shady here with the Double Freedom, the best weapon to enforce social distancing. It works on small bugs. It works on big bugs. It even works on unwanted social interactions.
Hey, Shady, can you send Kai this build I just came up with?
Nope.
The DBS2 Double Freedom is a 4-gauge double-barrel shotgun. It has 40 shells and can store up to 2, 1 in each barrel. It has 2 firing modes, single, where it fires one of the barrels, and volley, where it fires both of the barrels. Each of these shotgun shells does 840 damage.
No, that's a lot of damage!
It's also medium pen, so, you know. The Double Freedom is located in the Superstore under the Python Commandos Warbond. So go pick up your Double Freedom today. And remember, Helldiver, Home defense extends to your home planet. Back to you, Kai.
Thank you for the introduction, Shady. Y'all go check her out on Twitch at lady__Shady, because Lady Shady was already taken. But there is a little more we need to cover with the Double Freedom. This weapon is one of the closest primaries we have to the power of a support weapon. What I mean by that is stuffing both barrels up a Hulk's ass and pulling the trigger to deliver that 1680 damage of medium pin liberation makes it feel like a support weapon. Of course, it's also going to vaporize every green and blue in the game with extreme amounts of overkill, which is kind of the main downside of the Double Freedom. Because it only has 2 shots before needing to be reloaded and a smaller pool of spare shells, you will struggle if you try to use it against groups, meaning the Double Freedom is a little more niche than some of y'all might have realized. If you take this weapon, you will need a sidearm that can help you chew through hordes like the Verdict, Talon, Loyalist, or the Grenade Pistol. Alternatively, you can take a support weapon like one of the machine guns or the laser cannon to shore up the Double Freedom's weaknesses against groups. That said, the Double Freedom does have some very fun and notable breakpoints. On bugs, you can take off an alpha's head with 1 shot, or completely aerosolize them by using both barrels. Bile spears will get blasted, and the scariest enemy on the bug front dies with just 1 shot to its stupid face. Even Chargers and Titans can be brought down with sustained fire to their squishier bits. For bots, it excels against Devastators, but notably, it can also kill Factory Striders with a couple of volleys to their belly doors. The only enemy on this front that it struggles against are War Striders, because getting close enough to them in the heat of battle to shoot them in their jondals is really hard. Against Illuminate, it can kill Overseers with a headshot, but that damn ablative armor will still ruin your fun if you go for body shots. It's excellent against flesh mobs, and it can do some good work against the forklifts and gatekeepers. Overall, the Double Freedom is a bit on the niche side, but it really excels in that niche. If you build around it, it's an incredibly fun weapon that is much better than the Punisher. Next up, we have another divisive weapon, the Halt. This shotgun does 385 damage at medium penetration with its flechette rounds, and basically no damage with its stun rounds. It does still do damage, it's just laughably small. But these stun rounds are very effective at making the enemy sit down while your hot dog and other tools process them for the refinery. You'll need to use both ammo types in a mission because your main source of dealing damage, the flechettes, has very low stagger for a shotgun. Those stun rounds will keep the enemy from turning you into lunch or decorating their base with your corpse, which lets you follow up with some spicy sewing needles of freedom. But the Halt is not a very good gun if your only intention with it is to kill things. It's great for keeping your personal space clear of tyranny, but it's not so great at putting that tyranny down for the big sleep. It also suffers from a severe lack of attachments. It has no choke options, and doesn't come with one built in like the M98, so its range is more limited than other shotguns. None of this is to say that it's a bad weapon. It's definitely not. But when you take the Halt, think about why you're taking it. This is a support diver weapon. It's for saving your teammates without killing them, swigs. If you treat it as such and build around that idea, then it can be a decent gun. I won't bother too much with breakpoints, but it is notably very good at keeping Chargers and Hulks manageable. Chargers you can shoot in the butt and follow up with whatever weapon you brought for killing power, and Hulks get stunned very easily by just running behind them and popping a shot into their vents. Once they're stunned, you can easily take them out. But my real issue with this weapon is the pacifier kinda does the same thing as the Halt, but better. Its medium penetration gives you the ability to stun War Striders, which the Halt just can't do. It's just another victim of that power creep, and it probably needs a little love from Airhead. I think it's about as good as the Punisher. It's not terrible, but it takes a lot of effort to master. Speaking of Punisher, we have the Punisher, but better, the Cookout. This is a weapon
hang on, Kai, wait, no, nobody knows how to use this gun.
What, Damon? Get out of my damn rafters.
Let me tell people how to use this thing. All right.
Pain in my ass, he's gonna do
hi, 3 Demon here. You may know me from such hits as... Usually Kai keeps me locked away in the editing caves, but he's gotten lazy and he's just letting anybody do his work for him these days. I am honored to be able to have just a moment of time from that paragon of Super Earth virtue, the Commissar Kai, to talk to you all about the Cookout. Many moons ago, I recorded some clips for our War Bond video, and Kai took issue with my apparent lack of effectiveness with this gun.
You suck, Damon.
See, that's not how you use this gun.
For close encounters.
I heard that.
This one is for sloppy close encounters. The Cookout shoots at a firing rate, does an amount of damage, has an armor penetration value. None of that matters. It's just a Punisher, the very first gun you get on the first page of the free war bond with fire ammo loaded into it. It's got the same stats, it feels the same in almost every way, but in Freedom's Flame, they painted it red for fire. It's obviously strong against bugs and small enemies, it handles little chaff just like the Punisher. Each shot does a little bit less damage than the Punisher. Just like the Punisher, the stagger and push means you can get in real close and then tell medium enemies to f*** off. Alpha Commanders, Berserkers, even Overseers get interrupted and shoved away, which makes space for you to move. But this is the Punisher plus fire heat. Once something catches fire, it takes about 300 more damage over the next 3 seconds, and it feels bad about it. There is no chaff unit in the game with more than 300 health. Once they're on fire, they're dead. They might not know it yet, but that's not your problem. They call this ammo Dragon's Breath.
It's more of a demonstration, really.
You just spray around you. You don't have to focus any one target, just generally spray the crowd and move on. After they spend a while burning, come back and finish off whatever asshole is still moving. Pop one and the next and let those die all around you in flames. This is for insulting the enemy. Shooting a member of the Incendiary Brigade with this thing embarrasses them more than anything else you could possibly do to them. And then they burn. Ablative armor means nothing to fire. Heavy armor means nothing to fire. Every single light and medium enemy will catch fire and take that 300 damage. And because it doesn't light the ground on fire like a flame weapon, you don't even need to wear fire armor.
And now I'm on f***ing fire!
Get the f*** up in the face of the enemy and cause as much panic as possible. This gun is the essence of Helldivers. It is barely controlled chaos. Aggression. Just dive and dive again. Your preservation instinct is worthless. There's no reason to live if you're killing enough enemies. That number in the upper left is ammo. And if there's any left at the end of the mission, it means you weren't trying hard enough.
Stop being crazy, old man, or I'm gonna get the pills that you don't swallow. Anyway, the Cookout is better than the Punisher. Moving on. Next up, we have the shotgun that defined the metagame when no one knew what the hell we were doing. The SG-225 Breaker. This is the first of our magazine-fed damage hoses. It does 330 damage per shot, carries 16 shells, and is fully automatic. It also comes with a heap of attachments, including both a full choke, which makes it more accurate, and a drum magazine, which ups the capacity to 26 shells. The downside when you do this is that it'll only come with 5 total mags, but it's nice to have options with how you build your gun. The Breaker is pretty good against all factions, but it's best against the bugs and the squids. It can hose down a bug breach or waves of voteless with ease, and it doesn't really struggle with the more elite enemies. The main downsides of the Breaker are that it doesn't have a ton of spare ammo for you to spend on the Hordes of Tyranny, and it doesn't come with a lot of stagger, having the same stagger force as the Liberator. But if you just need a bullet hose to keep the Gribblies off of you while your other weapons put in the heavy lifting, then it still stands the test of time. Especially if you know when to lay on the trigger versus when to pick your shots. I've run some very effective builds with this weapon, and I'm consistently surprised at the amount of work it can put in. But like many of our other guns, it's a victim of the power creep. It's nowhere near the best shotgun or even the best horde clearing shotgun because you'll run through your ammo really quickly. And you still need to be careful about where you place your shots. I'd say the Breaker, while not a terrible weapon, is a little worse than the Punisher. But that's mostly because its variants exist. The Breaker Incendiary has all the same strengths of the Breaker, including the same weapon attachments. But it can also set things on fire. And since fire adds a substantial amount of damage to any weapon, I'd say that mostly makes it better. The Incendiary Breaker is incredibly good against the default Illuminate and most of the bug strains, but it struggles pretty hard against bots unless you really put in some practice with it. The main downside of this weapon is that most of you treat it like the Breaker. If you want this weapon to perform the best that it can, you have to use the fire effect to cook enemies. If you don't, you're just using a worse Breaker shotgun. Another substantial downside is the limited amount of ammo this weapon carries. If you use that drum mag, you'll only have 5 total mags to work with, which is not a lot. Meaning Siege Ready or the supply pack is pretty much mandatory when you run the Incendiary Breaker. It's also suffered from the dreaded power creep, since a gun like the Coyote can do exactly what the Incendiary Breaker does, but with more ammo and more accuracy. Honestly, a lot of the nerfs this gun got should be reverted. I do hope the entire family of breakers gets a buff soon, because there is a weapon further down on this list which makes most of them kind of irrelevant. But before we get to that one, let's talk about my favorite version of the breaker. The Breaker Spray and Pray. Take it away, Demo.
What's going on, Helldivers? Demo here, and I'm here to talk to you about my favorite shotgun, the Breaker Spray and Pray. This shotgun specializes in taking out chaff and light armored enemies, as it is best used against the bugs and the mindless masses on the Illuminate front, as it puts down as many rounds as possible in a short period of time. These pellets kind of spread all over unless you want to change to a full choke, but it's all about destroying the enemy, not just killing it instantly. So what makes me love this weapon is the fact that you're going to be using a ballistic weapon with a high fire rate that is firing a shotgun pellet. These pellets come out and just clear chaff like no tomorrow. It makes me just kind of feel like Terry Crews from The Expendables. If you guys remember the scene in the sewers with the AA-12, that is the feeling you get when you use the Breaker Spray and Pray. The Breaker Spray and Pray is part of the Helldivers Mobilized War Bond and is on page 9 for 60 medals if you're looking to buy it. So some pros and cons for this weapon are it puts out a lot of rounds in a short period of time and starts with quite a bit of ammo in those 9 mags. But you do have an issue such as the hive guards with hitting weak points, as those pellets spread around, so you may want to put a full choke on this if you want to be more accurate and hit the light armored parts of the bug. Fighting enemies such as the bots is also very difficult, as getting headshots is not its specialty. It is all about killing chaff and taking out chaff. So make sure if you're specializing in the Breaker Spray and Pray, you are aiming for those lighter armored enemies. And that's it for the Breaker Spray and Pray, guys. A shotgun with a high fire rate with low damage but can destroy the enemy with 9 mags. A lot of people may not like the light armor penetration, but it does do the job. So I hope you guys give it a chance, and I'll see you down on the battlefield.
I do want to add that I think Demo has undersold this weapon a little bit. Look, breakers are for spraying into crowds, and the Spray and Pray does this the best for one very simple reason. It has a crap load of ammo. It comes with 9 total mags, and these are drum mags. It sacrifices a little damage, and in return is the most lay on the trigger gun that we have access to, and not just for shotguns. This makes it way better than most of y'all give it credit for against bugs and the squids. Being able to completely write off Voteless as an issue, mag dump flesh mobs, or burn through hundreds of hunters means this weapon has teeth and a place in your arsenal. And I'm tired of people acting like I'm crazy when I point this out. When you pair it with Siege Ready, it just gets more absurd, since now you have 11 total mags of shotgunny goodness. To put that into perspective, if you were to slap a drum mag on the default breaker, with Siege Ready you would have 6 total mags. The Spray and Pray gives you 11. If you don't like aiming and enjoy firing off thousands of rounds like a democratic orc, then this is your gun. Stop sleeping on it. It's the best breaker, and it is certainly better than the Punisher. I would sing its praises even more if it wasn't for the next gun on our list, which is single-handedly responsible for making the breaker family mostly irrelevant. The who turned out the lights?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a surprise segment of my completely original quiz, a brand new, never-before-seen game show format that in no way resembles any pre-existing game shows. I am your host, Williaso, and I have with me today these 3 contestants. Forget about every other shotgun in this video, because this is the only one that matters, the Trident. Meow, it's me now, not this contestant, Lhila Kalkari.
How did I get here? What?
And here because he's helpful and I'm not, it's Commissar Kai.
God damn it, Will, you take this bag off of my head right now.
Our categories today do not matter for this bit, so contestants, are you ready to take my cock?
Is it reloadable?
I did not volunteer for this, damn it, Will, you and your stupid quizzes.
Lhila, you're picking first.
Quick play for easy?
Quick play for easy. Why is the Trident the best shotgun in the entire game?
Well, it's not.
That is incorrect, Kai.
Because you don't have to reload it.
That is correct. It does not have to be reloaded. Reloading is a skill issue.
What?
Suck it, Lhila.
No, wait, wait a minute.
Kai, you are picking next.
You know what? Give me a quick play for extreme.
Quick play for extreme. Why is the Trident better than every other shotgun?
Oh, let me think. It's because you don't have to reload it.
That is not the answer I'm looking for in this specific category. Lhila?
Because it has unlimited ammo?
That is not the answer I'm looking for. I was looking for, it has 200 meter range, no damage drop off, and a higher DPS than any other shotgun.
Crap.
Changing the rules.
Lhila, I'm scared.
I don't know how we got here.
Lhila, it is your turn to pick.
Quick play for impossible.
Quick play for impossible. Why is the Trident better than every other laser weapon?
Isn't this the same question? This has been the same question 3 times. Somebody help. Because of its DPS?
It is not just because of its DPS. Kai?
Because it is the only laser weapon that's got stagger.
It is because it staggers. The only other laser weapon that staggers is the sickle, and those have less DPS.
Rigged. This is rigged.
The DE sickle does have heavy pen, which could be more versatile than the Trident if you like to set yourself on fire.
Being on fire is a significant downside.
Kai, it is your turn to pick.
All right, give me quick play for challenge.
Quick play for challenging. Why is the Trident better than literally every breaker shotgun?
It does more damage than all of the breakers for some freaking reason.
It does more damage than every breaker shotgun, and also the Cookout and the Slugger. Then going into our final one, Lhila or Super Helldive. Which primary weapons have higher DPS than the Trident?
That is a really short list. I'm gonna say the Knight, the Plasma Purifier, and let's go with the Accelerator Rifle.
That is correct. These are the only 3 primary weapons in the entire game that have a higher DPS, but they all have to be reloaded, which means the Trident is better because reloading is a skill issue. And that brings us to the end of our game. Our winner is the LAZ-13 Trident, the best shotgun in the entire game.
Wait, hold on. Rigged.
You're free for now.
Good luck, Kai. You're on your own now, sucker. No!
Don't leave me here, Lhila. God damn it. Why can't I ever win any quizzes? Anyway, the LAZ-13 Trident is an incredible weapon. It's equally good against every faction, being the only shotgun that can claim this. It never needs to be reloaded, because I guess that's a skill issue now, and it can fit into literally any loadout that you want. It's insanely versatile and powerful. Which means, of course, I have an issue with it. This gun is the definition of power crap, and it's the reason the breakers aren't as good anymore. But level with me for a minute, divers. I don't want this gun to get nerfed. It's not problematic like the crossbow, and it hasn't shaken the very foundations of weapon design like the goddamn crossbow. It's just a great example of how to make a shotgun that feels rewarding to use. So, I'd really like to see the breaker family of shotguns brought up to the Trident's level. They are fun guns, but sometimes it's hard to take them knowing you are strictly nerfing yourself compared to taking the Trident. The Trident is definitely better than the Punisher. Arrowhead, throw the Breaker family a bone already. Our final shotgun is an underrated beauty and also not a primary. Take it away, Red.
Hello everyone, my name is RedMonsterThing, but you can call me Red. And today, Commissar Kai has asked me to talk about my favorite shotgun, the Bushwacker. Now, there are a number of reasons to love the Bushwacker. It has a decent amount of damage, ammo, but most importantly, it has a high stagger force just like the Punisher. It also has the same damage as the Punisher, making it one of the most damaging ballistic sidearms we have. I mean, look here. There is literally no difference. However, the Bushwacker is a sawed-off triple barrel shotgun, meaning that it has aura. Now, not only is having 3 barrels rare, but this also has the feature of being able to fire every single barrel all at once. So think of it as the child of the Double Freedom and the Punisher, or the variable, my beloved. Because when you fire this weapon in volley mode, it can deal more than 1,200 damage. It's a nice one-handed hand cannon, which you cannot hold the Punisher one-handed, that's for sure. Against the bots, which is arguably the faction where you'll struggle to use this the most, the Bushwacker is best used on Chaff and Devastators. With the Devastator specifically, you can kill one in around 3 hits to the midsection, however, you need to be extremely close to do this. Its stagger mainly prevents Devastators from shooting you briefly, but thanks to it only having 3 shots, it's kind of hectic when you need to reload often, which isn't really ideal against bots, but that's about the end of the line against the automatons. Against the squids, you'll be using against overseers and flesh mobs primarily, since the stagger really helps avoid being hit by the overseer's Q-tip. It's not particularly helpful against the appropriators, since that requires more of a machine gun's touch, but overall, it's a great backup option to your kit when you need that extra punch. Against the bugs, however, is where all of this gun's features really come into play. For most bugs, it can one-shot them in the head. This is especially useful for faster units like Alpha Warriors and Hunters. The Bushwacker also does extremely well against the Predator strain because it complements chaff builds that utilize stagger. And against Predator Stalkers, it can even kill them in one volley if you land all of your pellets. This sidearm is easily one of my favorite weapons to take against the bugs and has saved me multiple times from an early grave. But anyways, that's about all I have to say about the Bushwacker, and thank you Commissar Kai for allowing me to talk about my favorite shotgun.
God damn it, Red, keep your cock out of my videos. Anyway, I love the Bushwacker against bugs, especially the Predator strain. Being able to stagger something on demand and do 1200 damage to it in the process is just undeniably strong. Give it a try next time you want to run a laser build or just find yourself lacking stagger. And yes, I think it's at least as good as the Punisher. And that's all the shotguns in the game at the moment. These weapons are powerful and diverse, being able to slot into any loadout and playstyle if you pick the right one for the job. Helldivers is a game that gets shotguns a lot more correct than most other video game shotguns, and I love using them. So pick out your favorite boomstick and go liberate something, Helldiver. And thank you to all the creators that took part in this video. Y'all are good people, and you saved me a lot of work. So until next time, this is Commissar Kai. Buy my merch. We can do it one more time. There's still a Hulk there.
Oh, I see the Hulk now too. Yeah, okay.
All right, you ready? Yep.
Hug bug. Oh, you did. Well,
you dove in front of me and I hit your shield.
I thought the EPOG exploded, and I'm like, you silly bastard. No, I just killed you with my body.
Oh, that was funny.